Islam's never fought anybody as long and tall as I am, let alone someone who moves the way I move. He doesn't have a chance against me on the feet, and I need to see him unconscious. There's no excuses when I beat him. Machado Garry is the best fighter in the world, and that's it.
Everybody say before the fight, I'm gonna knock him out, I'm gonna finish Islam, I'm gonna stop his wrestling, but it's not working. I'm gonna do whatever I want and finish him. So I'm the best fighter in the world, and I'm gonna show it in Philadelphia. To make the fight easy, we have to training hard every day.
Use your range. Use your range. Range.
Who can beat us, who training more than us. But no one training more than us.
Nice, Usman. Very nice, Usman.
I'm not just crap. I'm the best fighter in the world. I'm gonna use all my skills.
I got this made a while ago, and I feel like this is something me and you would like. So, that is my Cage Warriors world title that I won in July 2019. And above it, when I got that one framed, I made this frame as well.
You love it.
It's an empty frame that says UFC World Champion coming soon.
And then you got Islam, who's, compared to all of them, he's the total package. He was beautiful to train. I mean, he's the easiest champion I've ever had to deal with. He can do it all. That's what people are missing.
You guys ready? Okay, let's go.
It's not a grappler versus a striker. It's a total MMA fighter fighting.
Nice, Usman.
And we just decide how he's gonna fight, how he's gonna win.
But all of that starts with, takedown defense. And then all of that kind of starts with, distance management, keeping your back off the fence, footwork, jab. Honestly, I really believe, people are like, oh, can you really win with footwork and a jab? Well, no, but footwork and a jab and good takedown defense has been like what Sean Strickland does. You know what I mean? That's how he wins. What is he winning with? Punishing ground and pound? That's not how he wins. It can be done. So to me, it's long range weapons. It is takedown defense. It is managing of not just the distance between himself and Islam, but the distance between his back and the cage, space in the octagon. And I think you're going to have to lead Islam into traps through your movement, right? If you can touch him and then go.
What happened was he ended up getting down to the ankle here. And a lot of people know this, obviously for a wrestling technique, where you bring the foot to the floor, and I drag Freddie, and he goes launching. Sometimes I get fucking flying to the air, sometimes you get to the back. But what I think could play a factor in this is if we get to this position here, and he can feel that this club's not gonna work. And if Garry's sneaking a finger in the glove the Dagestani way, he could drop back to this ankle here and hit the same thing he hit against Poirier. And what he did good against Poirier.
Islam Makhachev's high club collar tie is one of the most dominant control tools in modern MMA. Ian Garry's only real counter, the BJ Penn inside foot hook. Here's what you need to know about how this defense works and whether it actually solves the problem. Islam doesn't just wrestle. His collar tie game starts with aggressive forward pressure and the high club attack. When he collapses distance, he's not trying to shoot a traditional takedown first. He's establishing a grip framework that controls your head position, breaks your posture, and forces your chin down. From the high club, Islam has multiple pathways. Direct collar tie control into clinch dominance transition into upper body takedowns, maintain pressure to wear opponents down flow into wrestling entries with established posture control. What makes Islam different from other collar tie fighters? His footwork and hip placement. He doesn't just grab and hold. He steps his base aggressively, uses hip drive to collapse distance, and creates angles where you can't circle away. Most welterweights struggle here because they're defending the grip reactively. By the time they're fighting the high club, Islam already has momentum, posture, and positioning advantages. GSP was the last elite fighter to use this effectively until Islam made its signature. Craig Jones is building Garry's approach around disrupting this entry before Islam completes the collar tie grip. The inside foot hook works like this. When Islam drives forward with the high club entry, Garry's back foot plants on the inside line. Instead of defending with his hands or allowing Islam to establish full posture control, Garry uses his shin and foot position to create physical separation and frame against Islam's forward movement. Key mechanical advantages. You maintain space while Islam is trying to collapse it. Your leg acts as a literal barrier. You stay squared up instead of getting twisted or rotated by the collar tie. This preserves your ability to circle or step out. When Islam tries to drive over the hook, you can use dual framing, forearm on his chest and your leg on his hip, which distributes his pressure and keeps you standing. If Islam gets aggressive or overcommits weight forward trying to beat the hook, you can immediately transition to an ankle hook or leg attack similar to what Dustin Poirier created against him. The problem, this is a rare defensive response. Very few fighters see or understand the mechanics well enough to execute it consistently. Islam has fought hundreds of opponents and seen dozens of different reactions. This specific hook, it's unusual enough that it creates genuine complications for his rhythm. When Islam shoots a single leg, it's not a standard takedown. He's chasing hip control above everything else. From a technical standpoint, Islam's single leg entry has a specific structure. Drive forward to close distance, establish grip on the leg, move laterally to cut the hip angle secure position where the opponent can't turn into him or circle away. The danger, once Islam controls your hip, the takedown becomes significantly easier because you've lost mobility and positional freedom. You're no longer defending a takedown. You're defending a positioning sequence where Islam already owns the angle. Garry's counter, maintain backward movement without allowing Islam to gain the hip angle. This means meeting the single leg entry with immediate counter pressure, stepping back in a straight line, while Islam is trying to move laterally, preventing Islam from getting perpendicular to your body, creating space, where you can either strip the grip or move to open space. The tactical reality, Shavkat Rakhmonov struggled to consistently take Garry down despite being at least as skilled wrestlingly as Islam. Rakhmonov needed multiple attempts, had to mix in knee taps, and couldn't immediately establish control. That tells you Garry's positioning and spacing are fundamentally sound. Islam's coaching team, specifically Javier Menz, emphasizes that Islam isn't a wrestler with striking. He's a complete mixed martial artist who happens to dominate through wrestling when it's advantageous. What this means mechanically, Islam enters every fight with a clear hierarchy of what he wants to do. Against Garry specifically, Islam will likely test striking range early to measure distance and timing, use his jab and distance control to establish rhythm when Garry commits to the striking range, attack with clinch entries or takedowns if Garry sprawls or defends takedowns, maintain forward pressure to fatigue him, adjust to pressure grappling. If Garry's footwork is creating problems with shooting angles, look for submission opportunities if positions arise. Islam doesn't need the fight to play out in one phase. He can dominate in multiple phases and choose which one is most efficient at any given moment. Garry's entire offensive game plan centers on footwork, technical edge Garry is hunting. Islam's striking speed and precision don't match his takedown ability. If Garry can make Islam miss and force him to commit to entries from poor positions, he can either counter-strike or transition into the ankle hook counter we discussed earlier. The defensive ceiling. Can Garry maintain this spacing consistency for 25 minutes while Islam is applying constant forward pressure and looking for any moment to establish a clinch or initiate a takedown? This matchup is built on two completely different tactical frameworks. Garry believes footwork, distance control, striking precision, and rare defensive counters can disrupt Islam's system. Islam is preparing to prove those tools alone aren't enough to stop 5 rounds of forward pressure, elite wrestling decision-making, and complete arsenal usage. The technical questions that decide decide this fight. Will Islam's high club entry succeed despite the inside foot hook counter? Can Garry's spacing and footwork consistently prevent hip control? Does Garry's striking create enough problem for Islam to justify staying at distance? Which fighter's primary game plan remains intact through championship rounds? Only one system survives 5 rounds in Philadelphia.